Happy Monday, everybody. Christmas week. Happy Merry New Year Christmas, everybody. Hey, how you doing? I wish I knew what to tell you. By the way, other than my name is Marc Farzy Show. Welcome to the Steven Singer Studios here. It doesn't make sense to me. It is actually, when you really think about it, it totally makes sense because let's not forget what rules the world. And this was my first reaction to this news that broke on Friday about the Eagles not playing their game against the Washington football team because of a COVID outbreak with the Washington football team, not a COVID outbreak with the Philadelphia Eagles. So the NFL decided to postpone the game, push it back so that the Washington football team can get more players off the COVID list, which they have, and it looks like they will continue to do so. They'll get their starting quarterback back most likely by Tuesday. You had Ron Rivera addressing the media yesterday, say just as much saying that things are trending in the right direction for Taylor Heinicke to come out there and play. So it looks like the Washington football team will be in a much better place than they were had they played this game on Sunday. And now the Eagles will be at a disadvantage in this game because now they have, and it's going to be really tough to have two separate negative COVID tests 2 weeks apart, or 2 days apart, for Landon Dickerson, who is now on the COVID protocol list, for him to come back. Now, if he's asymptomatic, then he could come back a lot faster under the NFL's new protocol, which is kind of where I want to start off here. Because by now you've heard a lot of takes about the Eagles in Washington and whether or not they should have played this game, whether or not they should have just postponed the game, or whether or not they should have just canceled the game and said, Eagles, hey, you take the win, like we said at the beginning of the season, because it's a forfeit, and now the game, now you just have to worry about playing the New York football team, the New York Football Giants. So here's where we're at right now. The NFL on Thursday, released new protocol for handling COVID. And their big answer to this whole new problem, the Omicron variant and all that, and COVID in general here. And let me preface this by saying, and I know this cliche has kind of gotten thrown away here, but I'm going to go ahead and use this cliche right now. I am not a doctor. Let me just get that little thing out of the way here. For those that might be shocked by that, I'm sorry. Just 4-year communication student at Temple University, not Temple Medical. So anyway, the NFL's genius plan for helping halt Omicron and COVID-19 is, ready for it, less testing. All right, now hold on a second. You're going to think I'm kidding. The NFL's great plan here is less testing. They're going to do fewer tests than they did prior to what they did before. The genius idea in the NFL is less testing. Good job, boys. All right, hands in. Oh, wait, no hands. We're going to do this on Zoom because we know Omicron. So it's less testing for asymptomatic players. Okay. All right. So the whole thing about is safety, right? This whole thing is about safety, player safety. It's been about player safety for a long time when we've talked about concussions and we've talked about those physical ailments, right? Those football injuries, right? But now we're talking about health from a pandemic. Okay. So the genius idea here is less testing. Okay, so let's okay, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's keep this out. Right? Let's really hash this out here. All right, so we're gonna do less testing. Yeah, but the players are gonna be asymptomatic. Well, asymptomatic players can still transmit. What? And I totally get Baker Mayfield's side on that. Now, Baker Mayfield just wanted to play his game, and he wanted to push the game back, which they eventually did, pushing the Cleveland Browns game back. Was supposed to be Sunday afternoon 4:25 kickoff, and they've moved it to Tuesday. So there's to Monday today. So there's things that definitely make sense in terms of moving it back. But if you're really talking about player safety, then why not combining the two? Well, how come combining the two doesn't make a better idea? Protecting against player injury and protecting against a pandemic, i.e. canceling the game, the Eagles football game versus the Washington football team, canceling the game, Washington forfeits, Eagles still don't get paid, unfortunately, because under the NFL's rules, the team that, even though they didn't have the COVID outbreak, still forfeits their money to the game, which I was happy about Rodney McLeod and Darius Slay both coming out publicly saying how they were not in favor of that. Darius Slay coming out saying, I guess I gotta double up on massages because I got a game 6 days later, not even. And then Rodney McLeod just coming out saying, make this make sense to me. And other players coming out saying, I thought this was supposed to be a forfeit, and it's not a forfeit. Instead, you got to go ahead and play Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you got to play again against the New York Giants. Why not combine the two and just play it safe by all accounts? Because you know what's the safest possible thing? Not playing a football game. In the realm of, spectrum of safety, the safest is not playing football. Both for, you don't have to worry about a quick turnaround for these players, and also the pandemic. Hey, don't play the game, then you're talking about safety. Good on you guys. Way to figure it out. Instead, they go another way because the NFL doesn't want to lose money on not having a product to sell, ad dollars to sell by not having a game. They're not going to do that. So this is where it all makes sense to me. And this is where you really don't have to go far. Let's not forget what rules the earth. It's not health. It's not a pandemic. You know what it is? It's money. And look, as we're all people that need money to survive, like I get that. However, if you're going to go down this path of player safety for both pandemic and player injury, then how does this make any sense whatsoever to say, all right, you guys did what you were supposed to, Philadelphia Eagles. You guys went letter of the law. They followed everything. We're fantastic and all that. But you're still being punished because if we don't, then we're going to lose a lot of money. Like, that's really what it comes down to. And I love the idea that Rodney McLeod came out and said what he said. I love the idea that Darius Slay came out and said what he said. I love the idea that those guys know they're going to be missing a game check here, but would still rather miss that game check than have to play on a Tuesday and then a Sunday. How does that make any sense? Well, then again, I'll tell you how it makes sense. Money. That's how it makes sense. And like I'm in a place right now, personally, where I mean I've been vaccinated. Just so you know where I stand on those, I've been vaccinated. I just got my booster. Had a little bruise in my arm. Felt like I had a little bruise. Didn't have intense pain or anything. I got the Moderna, for those that want to know. Full disclosure. And now I found out that it protects a little bit more against Omicron as well. So all right, cool. But I got all that. So that's where I am on vaccines and all that. But when it comes to the NFL, I've definitely looked at this over the last couple of weeks and said to myself, okay, hold on. What are we still protecting for? Are we protecting for because we don't want, we still don't know the long-term effects of this? Like, I have a doctor who lives down the street from me. He's always talking to me about this to the point of it's like, all right, I don't need to hear about that. He's telling me about this new variant that's coming out. Next thing I know, a week later on the news, Omicron, great. But I'm at a place where I'm getting more comfortable with living my life, although I don't have to be around a lot of people, so that's good. I don't know where the NFL is trying to protect their players from both the regular thing, which is just football injury, and now the pandemic itself, and now the new variant of coronavirus. To me, I don't see how it's any easier. It doesn't really get any easier than not making a team who is in a playoff run, like the Eagles, penalizing them, giving the advantage to a team they're competing against for a playoff hunt. I'll say that, playoff hunt. They're in the playoff hunt. They're competing against that team, and they're now giving that team more of an advantage for getting their players back. And they're penalizing the Eagles for having to play on the short week as well. What happened to the forfeit idea? And I'll be honest with you. I think that came out in July is when the NFL first released that news. When the NFL came out with that in July, my first thought was, I don't believe you. And it was because of the money aspect of all this. The NFL wasn't going to, okay, so they're going to forfeit, and then they're going to forfeit ad dollars? Is that how it's going to work? Because I don't see that happening. They're going to do everything in their power, just like they did last year. They're going to do everything in their power to try to play as many games as possible. If that means a Tuesday, it means a Tuesday. And when you saw the numbers start to add up, I believe by the time we did the show Friday, 21 players on the Washington football team were in COVID protocol. It kind of got me thinking here, and I remember talking to Derek Gunn about it on Friday. I don't know if we're going to get this game in. Either they're going to forfeit, it's not going to exist, or it is going to exist, but at the detriment of the Eagles, who were not the team with the outbreak, who is the team still very much in the playoff hunt. And now the Saints are still in the playoff hunt because they beat the Bucs last night. Like, it's only getting more complicated in the NFC. So for me, I see where the NFL is coming from. I don't like where the NFL is coming from. If you really want to hash this out, and it's not just the NFL, by the way. The NFLPA does not get excused in any of this, by the way. This isn't just Roger Goodell saying play, and everyone's mad at Roger. They released a statement with the NFL. The NFL and the NFLPA released a statement saying what their intentions were with the new COVID protocol. And this is what they came up with. This is what a bunch of brilliant minds, highly successful people sat on a Zoom call or in a meeting room or whatever and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. And they all walked away with, great job, everybody. This is what we got. I'll tell you what the secret is. Less testing. That'll do it. That'll be great. Huh? Oh, and by the way, they're going to play on Tuesday. Huh? Wait, huh? It makes you feel like, with less testing, it makes you feel like, oh, well, if you get it, I don't want to know about it. You're asymptomatic and fully vaccinated? All right. I tested positive. Ho, ho, ho. Hey. We're not testing you, though. Okay, thank you. And this is all about preventing more of an outbreak? Oh, yeah. So less testing. Yeah. All right, cool. These are the things that keep me up at night, ladies and gentlemen, trying to make sense of this. And really, again, it's a simple outcome. Really, when you really think about it, as much as it doesn't make sense in the logical world, it makes sense in the financial world, which is they don't want to lose money. Okay. Credit to the players for saying, I guess I'm going to lose some money on this, but okay, as long as we get the win, we're in better standings going forward. We have a better shot at maybe making up some money in the playoffs. All right, cool. No, not happening. Not happening. So here's the good news in all this. The Eagles will most likely, I still have confidence that the Eagles will beat Washington. I still think the Eagles will win that game. And then the Eagles face the Giants. Now, you might go, oh, the Giants, you lost to the Giants. You're going to face the Mike Glennon Giants. They didn't look particularly good. The cool thing with the Giants yesterday was that Saquon Barkley catch. If you didn't see it behind his back, that was pretty impressive. That was pretty wild. But that's the team you're going to be facing on Sunday. So if you're going to face a team, maybe other than the Lions, and yes, I know they just won again, but if you're going to face a team on short rest, this would be the game to do it, to face the Giants. Still a divisional game. Still a very big game, but it still means a hell of a lot more to you than it does to them. So hopefully this team takes it to the next level in that game, if they can get to that next level in this game based on the short turnaround that they have. It's going to take a lot for the Eagles to still make the playoffs. Even if they win out, that still doesn't guarantee them a shot at making the playoffs. If they win out, it gives them a shot, but it doesn't guarantee them a spot, is what I'm trying to say, in the playoffs. Excuse me. So for me, the Eagles, it just comes down to reaching into the deep centers of their heart and giving exactly an old college try and working their asses off here. I'm trying to make sense of it. I know you can look at the NHL right now, and the NHL is not allowing cross-border play, so no games in Canada and all that. The NBA is now allowing teams. The NBA is now allowing teams to sign replacement players. So what does that mean? That means when the G League isn't enough, they can sign other players, I guess. So, I don't know. See you guys at Broad and Pattison. Maybe the tryouts there. Maybe shoot around FDR Park a little bit. Maybe a little bit of recruiting people there. I don't know how it's going to work. All I know is that it exceeds the G League. One player per COVID test. One player per positive COVID test is what they're allowed to sign. So the Sixers got postponed yesterday as well. Their game got pushed back. It looks like Boston is still on. There's just a whole lot of craziness going on surrounding the sports world. And to me, it's still very amusing, and I say that in the most sarcastic way possible, that the NFL's way of handling this in the safest way possible is to play a game on quick turnaround with less testing. You guys are doing a bang-up job, let me tell you. John McMullen has a much different take on this than I do. We'll let you hear from him. We'll let you hear his side of the story. John McMullen of Sports Illustrated, John McMullen of Philly Voice, John McMullen of Jacob Media YouTube channel. He does the post-game show with myself, Devin Caney, and Derek Gunn. And John will give us his take on this whole situation. But right now, let me tell you about my good friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Oh, and real quick, also in the comments, obviously, as always, guys, as you always do, let me know your thoughts on this. You totally understand this. This is good. This is what they should be doing in the NFL. They're handling everything fantastic, doing a bang-up job, as I like to say. Let me know that. Let me know if I'm just out of my mind, whether for this or different reasons. But to me, this is what the NFL has rolled out there, and yeah, hey, look, from the financial standpoint, which is what rules the world, even in a pandemic, that's where it makes the most sense. But from like a logical player safety standpoint, not so much. Let me tell you about my friend Steven Singer. Christmas is Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, and Steven Singer Jewelers is fully stocked with the #1 gift this holiday season, Anita Diamond Stud earrings. Real diamond stud earrings. But guess what? You're running out of time. As I said, Christmas is Saturday. Get out there right now to IHateStevensinger.com. Go there right now for the most beautiful, best value, real diamond studs anywhere. Choose a great pair of those Anita stud diamond earrings for under $270. And if that sounds familiar, then guess what? It's the same price as last year. So he's not jacking up the prices like everybody else is this holiday season. So much for the spirit of giving. It's just the perfect price. It's something that he gives you every single day. Steven's real diamond studs are flawless to the eye, near colorless, and come with his famous full value lifetime trade-in guarantee. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, that means you can trade in your diamond studs anytime and receive exactly what you paid towards a new pair. How about that? With that unbeatable, it's also with unbeatable deal. It's also there with a full 100-day, 100% money-back guarantee. This is your last chance for free shipping. Go right now to IHateStevensinger.com and receive free shipping to arrive in time for Christmas. Christmas is Saturday. Ordered out. Boom, they're in there. You still got them. Go to the man that I always trust, Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price. That's IHateStevensinger.com. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get a whole new take on this scenario here, because I think John McMullen thinks this is exactly the way this should be handled. We will talk to John right now on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. Joining us right now, the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line from SI.com, from PhillyVoice.com, from Jacob Media YouTube channel, Birds 365, all that and more. The one, the only, Mr. John McMullen. What's going on there, Johnny Mac?
Doing well. How are you, Mark?
Good. How was your pseudo day off?
Got to watch a little bit of football with no pressure. We're taping this Sunday, so that part was pretty exciting. But I would have rather been at Lincoln Financial Field. Last thing I want is a Tuesday night game.
As do I. Last thing I want as well, my friend. So what is your take on how we got to where we are, which is at the time that we air this tomorrow, the Eagles kick off with the Washington football team on a Tuesday night for a 7 o'clock kickoff. What's your take on how we ended up here?
Look, I am not as upset as most people are. I get why the NFL did this. I think a lot of it is been sort of packaged in a wrong fashion. I think people are kind of misunderstanding. Certainly locally, you're in a vacuum, and Eagles fans are upset for obvious reasons. The Eagles are upset for obvious reasons, which to me is understandable. But if the NFL didn't change these testing protocols, Mark, you see what's going on in the NBA today. If you see what's going on in the NHL, society as a whole with this new variant. This season wasn't going to finish if they kept these protocols, because we have completely healthy, asymptomatic players going down like flies. And the assumption that it wasn't going to hit Philadelphia, it's going to hit Philadelphia. So, okay, you got caught up in a bad situation, but from the macro view, they saved the Eagles season. They didn't derail it. They saved 32 seasons for 32 teams. Because this thing is going in a bad direction if they kept the same protocols.
It certainly is. And now on the other side of it, though, Landon Dickerson is now going to miss this game because he's now in COVID protocol. That news breaks on Sunday, as a matter of fact. So now it's like the Eagles are going to get penalized. They might get Quez Watkins back, but they're going to lose one of their starting offensive linemen now.
Well, a couple things. Quez is off the COVID list, so he's eligible to play on Tuesday. Now, Landon tested positive today. So if the game was played today, he probably doesn't play. So you want to save that argument for Monday if somebody comes on, So save that argument for Monday, Tuesday. But they've lessened the testing protocols. It's easier to get through. So that's not going to happen. I'm very confident to say that's not going to happen. And that was the reason this was done to begin with, was the fact that, look, if guys are positive, but they're asymptomatic, and I don't know where Landon is because he missed practice. He missed the walkthrough with an illness. And let me be the first and maybe only person to say this, Mark. I hope Landon Dickerson is okay. Nobody even asked that question.
Mm-hmm.
That should be first and foremost. Secondly, if he's asymptomatic, he might be able to play on Tuesday now that they've scaled things back. Mm-hmm. So you just have to kind of wait and see.
All right. What about the other side of this? I saw Rodney McLeod tweet out, to explain this to me, make it make sense, basically, to paraphrase. Darius Slay tweeted out, I got to double up on massages this week. I'm trying to nail this down. I've only heard one person say it, but both teams wouldn't get paid, right?
Yes,
if this game was forfeited, correct? So the players are only thinking about supposedly their health in all of this, which isn't a bad thing to think about.
No, yeah. From their standpoint, and look, understand, behind the scenes, the Eagles have been very honest and very forthright. And they want to make it clear that they weren't upset because they missed out on the gimme layup, the so-called, as I described it, Urban Meyer saying every game is Alabama. Well, you finally got a layup. Right. Washington wasn't going to be able to have it. Easy win, right? So that's what certain fans are upset with. From the Eagles standpoint, they're more upset about the short week.
Right.
And I get that from a health standpoint, especially.
Yeah, health in that regard, not COVID, but yes, yeah.
Yeah. From a standpoint of making the playoffs and hurdles, the New York Giants, look, if you want a short week, you want it against the New York Giants with Mike Glennon. I mean, you got to be it's a hurdle.
True.
It's
very
not
true.
Great.
Right.
But guess what, Mark? If the Eagles show up with their B game, forget about their A game, with their B game over the next week at Lincoln Financial Field, they're going to be 8-7. They're going to be 8-7, and they're going to have an opportunity to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, would you prefer to play on Sunday? Hell yeah. I'm going to be there at 1:00. I want to do the post-game show with you at 4:30. I don't want to do it at 10:30 at night. But it's not optimal. It's not the end of the world.
Where were you on Jalen Hurts as far as whether or not he would have played if this game was on Sunday? And then obviously, is he going to play Tuesday?
I definitely think he's going to play Tuesday. I thought it was truly 50-50 on Sunday.
Okay.
I saw him at practice on Friday, and I noticed he stopped stretching when they went side to side. So he's still dealing with this ankle injury. And I think Dallas Goedert was the one who said he's not limping as much as he was, which de facto says he's still limping. So he kind of let the cat out of the bag from that standpoint that he didn't want to do. But I thought it was truly 50-50. And I thought from the Eagles' perspective, look, if he can't run, why put him out there? So I was trending more towards no on Sunday. Tuesday, I think he'll play.
Okay. How many wins do you think it's going to take to win? To win at least the last playoff spot in the NFC?
3 wins, but 3 right wins. If they beat Dallas and they get 2 other ones, they're going to make the playoffs.
All right.
And week 18 is interesting because Dallas may not have to play week 18. They may have to play. So a lot of it depends on, if you're going to be honest, the Cowboys are a better football team. So if the Cowboys have something to play for, that's going to be a really difficult one for the Eagles to win. Mm-hmm. But if they show up, and as people have proved this week, they don't care. They want to get the win by hook or by crook. 20 Redskins down, let's get this win. Cowboys aren't playing, let's get this win, which is fine. But I do think Dallas is a better team. But that one could shake in a positive fashion for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you there. I want to switch gears with 2 quick questions here. One, you were the first man in after Jason Kelce's very emotional, I don't want to call it a speech, but his answer to
throw a life raft there.
I noticed because I could tell that he was starting to wrap it up, and it was about 2 minutes of him answering that question about basically, which was only, hey, what does it mean to you to be up for this amazing award? And he had talked about everything from Lane Johnson, to guys going through injuries, to guys going through mental health issues, to the charity work this team does and his teammates do, to the guys across the NFL, what they do. We're in the business of hope, which is just a line that is a tearjerker to begin with. But you were the first man. But I want to ask, before we get to that, what was the mood like in the room? Were you guys kind of looking at each other going, when do we get in here? How long do we let him go? Are we trying to save him at some point? Because I think the point you jumped in was the appropriate time. Like, you guys let that breathe and gave him his space to answer that question as best as he could.
Yeah, he was having a very difficult time getting it back. So, I was wanting to, get him back on path just so he could finish off. And
sure.
I don't know. As I said, try to give him sort of a light person. Not that he needs it, but
Understood.
I think he had a very difficult time trying to get past that, and was very emotional. So I did, and I knew the way I took it would get Jason back on track, because he doesn't like talking about that necessarily, and about his future and about his year to year at this point. And that's what I kind of asked him about. But I don't know. I just, when you see somebody breaking down like that, you want to make it a little bit easier for them to get off. And that was the goal of the question.
No, it was a perfect question. You essentially asked him about, how, if it got him thinking about his time, how much time he has left in the league, and hanging out with guys like Lane Johnson, for instance.
Yeah, because Jason's been very honest. He only continues to play for the cafeteria, number one.
Yeah, right.
Which is tremendous at the NovaCare Cup when we're allowed in it. And number two, to hang out with the guys and that camaraderie. So one of the things he said last year with COVID was like, it's no fun. So, that's another thing. If we go back to where we were in 2020, Jason Kelsey's not playing football because he wants to be around the guys. He wants to be in the locker room. He wants that camaraderie, and it's getting more difficult for him year by year. At the beginning of that press conference, you probably remember, Mark, we were asking about his injuries, and it's like, oh, no, it's the ankle. It was the knee. It's the foot. It's everything.
It's everything,
getting
right?
More and more difficult for him to get through it. So if he doesn't have the stuff he loves, he's not going to come back and play.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to change the subject here before I get your prediction. What was the best Christmas present a young, youthful John McMullen got when he was just a wee lad, growing up? What was the best Christmas present you ever got?
That is a good question. Wow.
I asked the hard questions, John.
Well, I'm a wrestling nerd, a pro wrestling nerd. So probably something in that realm. Probably. Okay. I would say, once they really started to merchandise, you had the rings. So one year I got the ring.
I was gonna ask you if you got the official then WWF wrestling ring.
Yeah, I did have one at one point. That's embarrassing to say.
No, I bet a million kids had that.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. Everybody's a nerd about something. Right?
Of course, yes. Yeah, if I were to pan the camera around this studio, you'd see all the Frank Sinatra merchandise I have up here.
Yeah, I love Frank Sinatra.
So how do you not? Yeah, right.
How do you not?
Right. John,
you probably do the karaoke of Frank better than I do.
Hold on. Just the fact that you even do Frank Sinatra karaoke is amazing to me. You do a little Frank on the old karaoke there?
Yeah, Fly Me to the Moon.
Oh, baby. There you go. Sweet spot right there. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, John, officially, what are you going with here in this game? What is your prediction for Eagles Washington football team Tuesday Night Football?
Yeah, I think everybody forgets, Taylor Heineke, if he passes COVID protocol, he's not very good. Kyle Allen, if he passes COVID protocol, he's not very good. Is Garrett Gilbert going to play? I have no idea. Is it going to be Kyle Shermer, Pat Shermer's son? Is it going to be Jordan Teamu, the noted St. Louis Battlehawks star? Eagles are going to win this game. I don't know who's playing, but they're going to win the game.
Love it. That's good enough for me, my friend. Good enough for me. John McMullen, and I look forward to talking to you after the game Tuesday night on the Jacob Media YouTube channel, as well as 6abc.com, as we do with live post-game show with me, with you, with Derek Gunn, and the amazing Devin Caney as well. John McMullen, Sports Illustrated, Philly Voice, a slew of other media outlets, including, of course, Jacob Media YouTube channel with Birds 365. My man, John, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it. Talk to you Tuesday night.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. John McMullen joining us there on the Rothman Orthopaedics. My thanks to John McMullen. Johnny Mac joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. By the way, real quick, speaking of Rothman Orthopaedics, make sure you guys check out RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. And also their social media platforms. I retweeted them as well. For the new podcast that's out there about Weekend Warriors. Had a great time talking to Dr. Stash and Alex of Rothman Orthopaedics about all things Weekend Warriors, what you need to do when you're done your Weekend Warrior activity, icing up, heating up, all that stuff, stretching, everything. The therapy guns, we covered it all, folks, with Rothman Orthopaedics. Plus, there's a great chance you can win a pretty amazing prize. Like Sixers Clippers tickets, courtside, baby. That's what we got going on, so make sure you guys check that out. Let me just say, before I even get to the comments in our chat check, I will just say this. On top of your game, people. I mean, I very rarely ever look over and be like, oh, the chat's having an off day. You guys are on fire more than ever today, as a matter of fact. John McMullen inspired some pretty amazing chats there, people. We'll get to that in a second. Let me tell you a little bit more about Rothman Orthopaedics, and then we'll comment on some of the things John had to say. Remember the old you? Remember the old you, ladies and gentlemen? Well, the one that have to put up with the fickle knee, the finicky hip, or the shoulder that, no longer does now what a shoulder should do. The Rothman approach to orthopedics is here to get you back to being you, back to running, walking, working, and playing, back to living your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available, you can start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopaedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. How about BetQL, ladies and gentlemen? BetQL. Not even BetQL could prepare for the Buccaneers losing both Chris Godwin and Mike Evans in one game on successive plays. That was fun. But you know what they do? In fact, they got 350,000 unique bets that they scan per year to make sure that you are getting the best bet recommendation so you can make the smart bet and get the advantage over your sports book. Their best bet computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year, and they give you that best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports, and they give you the reasoning behind why you should place that bet. Their model covers everything from point spreads, over-unders, player prop bets. And if you don't want to use their model and prefer to do your own research, BetQL has all the necessary tools for your betting research needs. Everything from sharp data, line movement, team summaries, lineups, injuries, breaking news, and even a leaderboard so you can track your own success. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now to download the BetQL app. How about the people at PHL Sports Station? That's Philadelphia Sports Station. Oh, Nally. So many things to cover across the Philadelphia sports world alone. So make sure you're doing it all on PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. How about the amazing people at WinView? Ladies and gentlemen, WinView is absolutely fantastic. It's the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who's the biggest sports fan? If you have those friends and family members who think they know everything, play them in a WinView contest and see if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. If you want to break up the monotony of family dinners and get-togethers like Saturday, you want to break that up for a second? Little WinView contest, maybe in the NBA games, for instance. Play a quarter of a Monday Night Football game as well. You can play a Thursday Night Football game or a Tuesday Night Football game because, hey, that's a thing. Well, yes, well, while you're tracking the games, you can always make sure that if your fantasy team isn't killing into the playoffs for you, maybe you challenge your friend or family member to a WinView contest and win a little skin, win a little money that way. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where you can win real money prizes for making predictions on the games that you love so much. Do that all on the WinView app. All right, without further ado, let's get into our chat check, ladies and gentlemen. It's everybody's favorite part of the show. Kevin leads it off for us. Good morning, Kevin. And then Jack, what's up, Jack? Sean, good morning. Good morning. Phil, good morning. Dan Schwartz. Dan saying, getting into the deep stuff today, Mark. Yeah, that's true. Not a lie. You're not a doctor. That's correct. I'm a loved. Oh, don't lie. You're a love doctor. Oh, God bless you. Dan's quote, "You got COVID? Shh, just play." Yeah, that's pretty much what it feels like. Less testing, man. I would be a billionaire, philanthropist, superhero if it made any sense, geniuses. That's very true, Sean. Mally, what's up, Mally? Saying hi to everybody in the chat. Sean, hello. Sean, my guy. There we go. Oh, yeah, Marc is pissed. His hands are all over the place. Mally said that. You know, it's funny. I was talking to my parents last night, just getting ready for the holiday because we do the 7 fish. Which, by the way, I have not kept this a secret. I grew up in a beautiful, big, fat Italian Polish family. My mom's Polish, my dad's Italian, and I never knew 7 fish were something that Polish people did too. Like in my family, growing up, every holiday was Polish except for Christmas Eve. And even when I was younger, every holiday was Polish, like even Christmas Eve then. And then my dad was like, "Oh, wait, my family made great food. Let me start cooking." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's get that. I've had pierogies a million times already." Anyway, so, but what I'm saying is we never, even though Polish family, we never had the 7 fish on Christmas Eve. That never happened. And I thought it was just an Italian thing. And then literally my neighbor Joe, not the doctor, my neighbor Joe says to me, "Oh, you guys do 7 fish? Oh, because your mom's Polish?" And I'm like, "What? No, we do it because my dad's Italian." And he says, "I don't know, it's a Polish thing." I go, I don't think so. I don't think so there, Joe. And then, you remember that demo I was telling you about that I don't have time to finish it. So I brought my contractor and this guy, Robert, who's from Poland. He's an amazing guy, awesome guy. And I asked him, I said, "Robert, he grew up in Poland." I said, "Robert, is the Polish thing, did you guys do 7 fish?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, all the time." I'm like, "What the hell? I had no idea. I thought I was doing this big Italian thing my whole life." And that turns out it's a Polish thing too. Anyway, welcome into my world for my own personal problems, right? But I didn't even know. But anyway, so I'm talking to my parents trying to get ready for 7 fish. And my mom didn't grow up doing it either. She didn't grow up with 7 fish on the Polish side. So anyway, so I'm talking to my parents last night, and I'm waving my hands around. And my dad, of all people, the Italian, goes, "Hey, you're talking with your hands a lot there, son." And I'm like, "Do you see the chat?" And my mom watches every day. And my mom's like, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "Mally and April, they always comment. And Dan, they always comment about your hands." So, Mally, you commenting about my hands flying all over the place today as I'm being very emphatic about the NFL, the big old bunch of idiots. That kind of is on point. Fuji, what's up, Fuji? John Cheeseborough, good morning, all. I'm still steaming about this decision to postpone the game. It just doesn't make any gosh darn sense. I mean, other than the money, but here's the thing, like, I haven't reviewed the NFL's financial plan, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that if a game that was supposed to be played is not played, then they don't make money. And if they do make money, it can't be as nearly the amount of money that they would be making if there was a game. And if I know the players don't get paid for that game not being played, for that game being forfeited, then what happens to that purse? That money just, does that go to the NFL's retired veterans fund or something like that? Like a fine does, because you get fined in the NFL. It goes to the retired the players fund, basically. Sean, I definitely thought about that. NFL's way of punishing the Eagles for the last game. John, you have the same idea. Okay, so John said forfeit idea was never anything more than a scare tactic, just like Farzy said. That money, the money involved, they would never say no to it. You're absolutely right. Forfeit means no money. NFL said bleep that. Here's what pisses me off the most. Denver was forced to play a game last season with a receiver as their quarterback without postponing the game. John, you're exactly right. I forgot about that Denver game. That's a great point. I'll be on Fox 29, John, and I'll be sure to bring that up and credit you, of course. This is the NFL's way of punishing the Eagles for the last game last year. Sean, people think that is what do you call it? Childish, like a league wouldn't do that. Wouldn't put it past them, even with Doug Peterson not being here anymore. And that's a whole other thing. How about Doug Peterson getting consideration for the Jaguars job? I heard somebody I forget who it was. I was flipping around on Sunday, but I heard somebody describe Jacksonville's situation as there's somebody at the party that nobody really likes, but you had to invite him. And then everyone, while he was there, everyone was like, what do we do? And then he finally left, and it's like, all right, start the party. And that was Urban Meyer. Why wouldn't the NFL move the Giants game to Monday? There's still a game on Monday. Yeah, push it back another day. Yeah, go for it. Well, then you're messing with another game. But still, if you're messing with one game already, why not mess with two games? You've already messed things up. Yeah, move it to Monday. Give the guys an extra day. April, good morning. Definitely missed the game yesterday. Definitely. I'll say this. It felt weird to sit on my sofa watching football and enjoying it, except for the Cowboys. Well, you wanted the Cowboys to win again yesterday, so the Giants have another loss, that whole thing anyway. And so that the Cowboys are in a better seating, as best seating as possible before that game in Week 18, so that it doesn't matter as much to them. Dan's idea. They should just test the same amount and divide the positive numbers by 2. Washington would only be missing 10.5 players. Divide the players on IR by 3. That's not a horrible idea. It makes about as much sense. Sean just says, good morning, April. Didn't the Eagles put Dickerson on? Yes, Mally, I mentioned that earlier in the show. They put him on yesterday, and then I think John said you still don't know whether or not that would have been before or after the game. Hey, man, if it's on Sunday and it came out after game time, I'm saying it was after the game. So I'm saying he would have played in that game. Bring back the scabs from the 1987 walkout. Fuji, that is a blast from the past, man. Dan is suggesting Madden simulations to determine the game. Players still be paid in GTA V money. Very nice, Dan. What did the NFL move to bring back scabs? What a poop show. April, that's probably the most accurate comment. Fuji, Johnny Mac in the house. Johnny Mac was in the house. Also, the Browns get screwed too. They have to play today and then get smashed by the Packers on Saturday. Can I just vent for a second? No, who cares about my fantasy team? Anyway. Yeah, Mike Evans was on my team. Anyway. Kevin says, laugh my ass off. Phil, what's going on? Anthony Camuccio? Anthony, what's up, buddy? My old college pal. What's up? Chiming in on the old chat here. Rob, good morning to you. Dan, happy with the NFL doing money priority number. Health is overrated. Money priority number 1. I pick up on the sarcasm. Mopar, what's up, Mopar? John McMullen equals Andy Reid's first cousin lookalike. Very true. Where did McMullen come from? Sports Illustrated, Philly Voice, and the Jacob Media YouTube channel. Rob, you nasty. Mopar says, now Island in the Galapagos. He does not look like the Philly fanatic. Come on. Well, a lot of dead. Wait, Farzy in 15 years looking like John McMullen. That's fine. Farzy is beautiful. Oh, Matt, you're adorable. Thank you. Mopar, my goodness, yes. Oh, you guys are all putting the dots together. You're connecting the dots. Spit my coffee out. Mopar in 15 years, he'll be doing this chat check. Like this. Da-da-dee, donuts. Very nice. Johnny Max is Marc 15 years and 4 kids later. You know, once you're there's a funny progression. One of my other neighbors, this is like a neighbor show, sorry, just got engaged. And we were reviewing the notes here of like what people say to you after you get engaged, because when you're about to get engaged, like, oh, when are you getting engaged? When are you going to get engaged? When are you going to get engaged? And then you get engaged. And it's like, hey, when are you getting married? You're going to have a date. When are you getting married? And it's like, oh, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? How many kids? Oh, you had a kid? When are you having a second kid? When's number 2? And it's like people go through this whole progression of just trying to guilt you into the hell that is their own life. Join me. And it's like, oh, you had a kid? When did you have a third kid? I don't know if a third kid is in the cards for us, pal. Get me after 2. Let's have kid number 2, and we'll see how that works. We'll see how that works out for us. Johnny Mac looks like the guy at the bar who buys you shots at the dive bar. Not that there's anything wrong with that, Mopar. I always appreciate that. I always appreciate the regular at the dive bar that you sees the new person walking in, like, get you a shot. Yeah, I'll do a shot. And they want to do fireball. They want to have a shot of Fireball because they feel like that's connecting with your generation. Johnny Mac, greatest gift. Johnny Mac, greatest gift was when they invented electricity? What? Their special teams is no match for the Portland Pfizer Vax first round pick Delta Mopar. That is pretty amazing. Dan says, I want them to rename the Super Bowl to the SARS-CoV-2 Bowl. What is it with the crazy names now? What, we got a Barstool Bowl, we got a Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. There's all these weird names. Inside the Birds, what's going on? Nice to see you guys. Wait, did I just jump around here? There's a Polish joke in there. Wait, you're not. Farzetta. Wait, that's not Jewish? No, it's Italian. Actually, the pronunciation is Farzetta. Anyway, what do we got here? Mopar, first round pick. That's where I left off. The old you. I emphasized, Kevin, just for you. Thank you. There were some shots of my Israeli brothers and sisters previously. What? No. How did the Bucks get shut out? Feel bad for anybody that had them in the survivor elimination pool. Yeah. Well, I mean, the Saints have had their number this year, unfortunately. And not just this year. Chiefs winning this. Chiefs are now like the hottest team in the NFL. There's a Polish joke in there somewhere. Craig says, Farzy, how much espresso did you crush this morning? Just one. And I'm working on number 2. Always goes down smooth. I didn't watch Mad TV. I didn't know. I felt like I was cheating on Saturday Night Live with Mad TV, so I didn't watch it. Who's the UBS guy? Mrs. Farzetta is out of bounds? What? What are we doing here, folks? Please, Mark, have some respect for Fox 29 remotes today. You know what? I will. I promise you that when I'm making the same points on Fox 29 as I did to open this show, I won't break anything. Whiz with what you want. Mama says Fireball is the SB Ricky, what's up, man? Mopar, Mama says Fireball is the devil. I believe I said that with the right the cadence. I think I got everybody. That's always a good feeling inside when I feel like I got everybody. About the Bucks. Shut up. I got everybody. Thanks, everyone, that commented on the chat check. You guys are awesome as per usual. Let's jump into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Here's what I'll say about the NBA and what they did with the 76ers and postponing their game over the weekend. I'm fine with it. And I'll tell you why I'm fine with it. I don't need to watch the Sixers right now. And here's another thing. Wasn't it a game against the Nets last year that the Sixers didn't have enough players to play, and Mike Scott had a knee injury, and they're like, Mike Scott, quick, put on some Sixers colors. You're going to play today. Huh? Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'd rather them, how about this? Not play the game when it's not healthy for anybody than force somebody to play. The NBA, I guess, learned from their mistake last year and said, we're going to cancel this. We're going to postpone this one. We'll reschedule for a later date. And the Sixers go ahead and play. They're going to go play Monday. Go play Monday. They tip off tonight against the Boston Celtics at 7:30 in Boston. So we'll see how that one plays out. But I'm good on watching the Sixers. I was fine with missing that game on Sunday. It would have been nice on Sunday to have a Sixers game to end the day with. But would it have really been? I mean, the Sixers haven't exactly been playing some great basketball. I made the argument on Friday that it was time to sit Tobias Harris, and he needs as much rest as possible to feel better. This gives him another day off. I'm fine with this. This is the right decision. I'm not going to jump all over the NFL for not postponing a game, for postponing a game and not canceling it, and then applaud the NBA for doing the same thing. I'm not going to be a hypocrite in that regard. The NBA did the right thing, and they just canceled the game. They'll play it at a much later date, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm all for that. The players need to rest anyway, especially Tobias Harris. So I have no issue doing what the NBA did. They did the right thing finally. And then I thought it was really interesting when last night you saw Adrian Wojnarowski put out the story about how the NBA has decided to allow teams to sign replacement players. Basically, how it works is per player testing positive, they get a player to sign. Makes sense. One's down, next man up type of thing. What's also interesting, I don't believe it counts against the luxury tax. So you're talking about $500,000 for some guy off the street. And then it got me thinking this. You know how sometimes in the NHL when they're down a goalie and they don't have a goalie and that kid from Temple played for the Blackhawks a couple of years ago? How awesome would that be? Especially in the NBA where now players can make money. How great would that be if all of a sudden somebody comes off the bench and somebody's team and all of a sudden they're playing in the NBA? That's awesome. So the NBA is actually handling this okay. Good for the NBA. NHL, no more cross line, no more crossing the border into Canada to play. Here's the thing: the Olympics in Beijing are in question for whether or not NHL players will play. The Olympics are in question. How about I answer that question? No. No. Answer that question. Because here's what I've learned. And I want to say this one more time for the people listening. I am not a doctor, but this Omicron thing doesn't really seem like it's going anywhere. And COVID-19 also doesn't really seem like it's going anywhere. I saw a number, and I know people dispute the numbers all the time, but it was something crazy, like 64,000 people had COVID on in the United States on December 1st. And then yesterday on the 18th, the number that came out was like 120,000. And it's like, that's a bad number. Last time I saw those numbers, the world shut down. Let's not have the world shut down. So I'm going to go ahead and say this thing isn't going to go away anytime soon. It's definitely becoming part of our life. So in an effort to try to not control, but corral as best as possible, maybe not have the NHL players go overseas to play. That way we know that at least the NHL season will come back and we'll actually be able to watch hockey. Especially when the Philadelphia Flyers, how's that for a transition, have been playing some pretty good hockey as of late. Nice little point streak all of a sudden, drop 10 in a row. Get 4 games now in a row they've got points in? They lost one, but they still got the point. So that was nice. They won the game in overtime. It was really awesome how that game was won, especially with Joel Farabee tying the game. Joel Farabee comes off of what do they call it in the NHL? The injured list, I guess, right? And he comes back, scores a game-tying goal, forces overtime, and that was a crazy goal. That was a perfect example, kids that are playing hockey. Just put the puck on net and see what happens. Put the puck on net. They get tied up at 3. They go to overtime, and they win the game in overtime by a beautiful goal by Travis Sanheim. Great assist from Cam Atkinson. Buried in the back of the net, a little one-timer action there. They force the turnover. Claude Giroux controlling the puck in the zone for a while. They get the change. Sanheim deposits in the back of the net for the game-winning goal. Love seeing that. Carter Hart had a illness, not COVID-related. They get the goal with Marty Jones in net. So that was great. Credit to the Flyers. Happy for the Flyers. They got the win. They're back in action against the Capitals tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So hopefully the Flyers keep things going as soon as humanly possible. So we'll see how that goes. John Cheeseborough, UBS guy, the ultra hype delivery guy who can't stand still. I don't know that reference, John. I trust you, and I hope other people get it. I don't get it because again, I didn't cheat on Saturday Night Live with Mad TV. Show your free throw video, Farzy. I mean, that can only be shown so many times. Plus, I don't even have it in the system anymore. I don't think. Wear your Milk Boy Paperboy cap. I thought so. I wore that hat, and then after I wore that hat, I started watching Peaky Blinders. And then I saw those people, like a lot of people on like social media accounts were trying to like trash the Jeff cap. I don't even know if that's the politically correct way of saying that. But if it's not, I'm sorry to everybody named Jeff. I don't know. And I saw on social media, people were saying how that hat is stupid. And then all the comments are, that hat is great. My husband wears that hat. My dad wears that hat. Everyone wears that hat. That's great. And then it says, you know who loves that hat? The Peaky Bleeping Blinders. I don't know. I like that. I will say my dad tried pulling that hat off when we were in high school. My brother and I, he came home one day just out of nowhere. My dad had like a big trench coat, and he had that hat. He walked in the door, and my brother and I looked at him like, we are not letting him get away with this. And my brother wanted to hire a guy who played a mandolin to just follow my dad around as he walked around in a trench coat and that hat. And it was like, hey, Dad, when does your detective special come out? Like that whole thing. It's not funny, guys. Anyway. Thanks to everyone that participated in the show today. You guys are fantastic. Farzy, look him up on YouTube. I will definitely look it up on YouTube and see what's what. Oh, one of the other things I saw, I wanted to make sure I got in regarding the 76ers, was the Sixers are short-manned. I think it was it Agree to Disagree Radio that put it out there on their social media? Yeah, I think it was. It was don't have enough players to play, and it was Doc Rivers with a picture of Ben Simmons just smiling. Call him up. Which also reminds me, I don't think I hit this in the chat. Somebody had it. It was great. I even talked to PJ about it. Farzy talking to Johnny Mac was I think it was Mally. How it's going versus, how it started versus how it's going. I was the how it's going. Damn it. Take two. I was the how it started. Johnny Mac was the how it's going. And I think that was the comparison of how we look alike. All bald guys with beards don't look alike, folks. Maybe we look alike in 15 years, but I don't know. I don't even know how much older Johnny Mac is. And by the way, I wasn't even a big wrestling fan, but my buddy that had the wrestling ring, I was always jealous. I wanted that wrestling ring. It was a nice size wrestling ring, too. So there you go. Thanks, everyone, that participated in the chat. If you like me, bonus me today. On Fox 29. Look forward to talking to, I believe, Mike Jarek and Karen Hepper in. I'll be in on Wednesday as well, doing 2 hits with Fox 29 today, so that'll be fun. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, everybody. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a phenomenal job, as per usual. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. My name is Marc Farzetta. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. It's Christmas week. Eagles play tomorrow. That'll be fun. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Talk to you soon. Talk to you tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Take it easy. From the Steven Singer Studios, I'm Marc Farzetta. Have a great rest of your day.